Now, over the years, again, there's been a variety of different teleological arguments. Most famously would be Paley's famous watchmaker analogy. Now, it goes something along the line of this. So imagine you're walking through the woods, and you stub your foot, and you bend down, and you pick it up, and you find it's a rock that you stubbed your foot on. Now, you look at that rock, and it's not very strange for you to think that that rock has just always been there. Now imagine a different scenario. You're walking through the woods, in a deep part of the woods, and you hit your foot on something, you bend over, and you pick it up, and it's a watch. Now, all of a sudden, you get a very different scenario. A scenario where if you were to go to your friend and you said, hey, I found this thing, this watch, and you know what I think what happened is that there's a mud flow that came by and dropped a bunch of mineral deposits, and over a long period of time, this watch formed. Your friend's going to look at you like you're crazy. Like, of course that watch didn't come from nowhere. It was intelligently designed. When we look at a watch and we find that it's very precisely made, it's got very precise mechanics in it, it's very complex. The mechanics are working together. I mean, you open up a watch, there's all the gears, and everything's just working together. You even look at the design of it. You got a casing, usually like a glass casing in front of the face of the watch to protect it. And what do you know, the numbers and the arrows on the watch seem to correspond with the actual time of day. And so you look at this and you find this very complicated mechanism all for a singular purpose as it is. So it's a complicated mechanism, but it's all working for one singular purpose, and that is to tell time. And we look at that and we say that's obvious market design. We are really great at determining design, like finding design. Usually we're really good at finding arrowheads, something as simple as an arrowhead. We can usually able to differentiate a rock from an arrowhead. We see that design, the purposefulness in that arrowhead. Like something as simple as a very, very rudimentary, simple tool. You know, we get excited. We're like, this is a sign of an ancient civilization. This is a sign of intelligence. We get excited because we see and we recognize design and intelligence and intentionality in things. So then so we see that design and we go, from that design, there has to be a designer. I like to use the analogy, let's say you're in a spaceship and you're going to a never-before-visited planet, and you get there, and when you land, you notice that there's a bunch of rocks, and the rocks are laid out and so that it spells out your name. Now, you get on a planet, you're going to think something is up. Like, somebody knew you were coming, somebody knows your name, and this makes the most rational explanation. It's going to be our first explanation. Most of us are not going to go to that planet and be like, wow, what are the odds of that? What do you know? Like, this planet just happened to have my name spelled out. That's so cool. Let me take a selfie with it and just go on. Like, you know, something's up. Like, okay, somebody knows who I'm here. Maybe this intelligent life is here, and they get caught understanding that I'm going to be coming here, and so they spelled my name out in rocks. So likewise, when we look at our bodies and the world that are around us, we find very similar things. The fact that we look at our bodies, for example, and we notice that we're made up of very complicated mechanisms. Mechanisms that are far beyond even our ability to, in creating computers, especially like our brain. Our brain is so much greater than any computer we've ever made. And our bodies is efficient machines, and there's everything from the cellular level to a much larger level, like our digestive system. Like, everything works together so great, and it's complicated, but it's interworking, all for singular purposes to keep us alive, to give us life. And so it seems to make sense that if we infer a designer from even something as simple as a rudimentary tool in the ground, that if we can infer a designer from that, then it makes sense that there has to be a designer because we show design.